2 Corinthians 4:18 says, "So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal." There is a veil that separates heaven and earth, but there are times when God allows that veil to be pierced. Worship has an element that pierces the veil, because when we align ourselves with what is happening in heaven, which is worship around the throne, that veil that separates heaven and earth grows thin. There's a story in 2 Kings chapter 6 where Israel is at war with Aram. And every time Aram would make plans for battle against Israel, God would reveal the plans to the prophet Elisha, who would send report of it to the king of Israel. This happened over and over, making the king of Aram so angry that he thought he had a spy among them. His advisors told the king that it was the prophet Elisha who was making their plans known. So he sent a strong force to capture Elisha. When Elisha's servant went out in the morning, he saw that the city was surrounded, and he went to Elisha, frightened about their situation. But Elisha wasn't afraid. He prayed that his servant's eyes would be opened, and when he did, the servant saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire that God had sent. The veil was pierced, and the servant saw into the unseen world, into the eternal, and he saw that he had nothing to fear. This was all brought to my mind a few weeks ago by a talk with my 3-year-old grandson, Drake. He asked my wife, Diana, to make up a story to tell him. She started telling him a story, and the story included an old woman. Diana asked him if he remembered my mother, his great-grandmother, who died last year at the age of almost 91. She had lost her vision late in life. Drake was 2 when she died, so I wasn't even sure he would remember her. But when Diana asked him if he remembered her, he said, "Yeah. And she's brand new now. And she can hear, and she can see." I was blown away because I didn't expect to hear anything like that. He's 3 years old. What does he know about being brand new? And it made me wonder about the veil and how thick the separation between heaven and earth really is. I don't know why Drake said the things he said. But what if he saw the unseen, the eternal? What if the eyes of the young, who haven't been taught what not to expect, what not to believe, are more open to the other side of the veil than the eyes of people who've been trained not to look? It made me want to position my mind and my thought life to be able to see all that God desires to show me. My prayer for us is that our eyes would be open to realize that there is a spiritual world that is every bit as real or more real than the realm we see, and that God is busy working on our behalf. On your worst days, the God of the angel armies might have you surrounded by chariots of fire. Love you guys.